Well, it looks like the story of Asajj Ventress isn't over yet. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, and become a member of my channel here today. So many amazing perks that you guys can get, including your name shouted out if you are a $5 and above tier member. So shout out to Caleb's Cave of Collectibles. Thank you for being an awesome tier member. So the other day I posted a video giving you my thoughts on the latest episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3. And of course, it's the episode involving Ventress. And in that video, I was a little concerned because they didn't explain what happened to Asajj Ventress, like how she survived the events of the book Dark Disciple, what was going to happen to her, and all these questions that we had just were kind of left unanswered. And then later that day, Star Wars had posted something on Twitter, a quote from Jennifer Corbett, who is one of the executive producers of the show, also a writer. She said, and I quote, "How she survived will be revealed in future content. But for this story, we were thrilled to include her and explore her unique connection to and compassion for Omega." So that quote would definitely indicate that there is more stories with Asajj Ventress to come. Does this mean that there's going to be another animated show that takes place after Bad Batch? There's a lot of time between episodes 3 and 4. Heck, there's even a lot of time between episodes 3 and Rebels. You could easily fit another show in there. And it could be about Asajj Ventress. And even if not about her, she could play a role in it. But it is good to know that it seems like there is a plan in place to have more Ventress content. Because if that was just like a one-off and they didn't do anything else, it would have been like, okay, well, what was the point of this? Now, for what it's worth, I really did enjoy that episode. And if you go back and listen to my thoughts on it, you would know. Easily a top 10 or even a top 5 episode of the show. Now, StarWars.com also posted an article on the same day, actor Nika Futterman talking to StarWars.com about the return of the fan favorite character Asajj Ventress in The Bad Batch. And for those who don't know, Nika Futterman, voice of Asajj Ventress. Her first thoughts: "I thought we had gotten to a place in her story where it was going to continue on in this really interesting way," Futterman tells StarWars.com. "I just thought now that she's going to be a bounty hunter, there's just a world of possibilities that she could be anything and do anything and become anything." Unfortunately, we really didn't get to see that play out on screen because Disney canceled Clone Wars. Thanks for that, Disney. But then she gives her thoughts on Lucasfilm wanting her back as Ventress for The Bad Batch. "It was really surprising and very exciting," she says. "She's fun, interesting, and multi-layered. She's all these things that I wanted to continue on doing. So of course I was like, yeah, baby, what's next?" The article also says, when it comes to Ventress's return, however, there's a need to address the bantha in the room. The bantha in the room. "For all intents and purposes, Ventress met her demise in Star Wars Dark Disciple, a novel based on the unused scripts of the Clone Wars. Still, series creator Dave Filoni, executive producer Brad Rau, and executive producer/head writer Jennifer Corbett had a plan. Ventress is one of our all-time favorite characters," Rau says. "So when Dave brought up the idea of bringing her into The Bad Batch, we were beyond excited." Then Corbett explains, "We had several discussions about the book and how her story could continue. How she survived will be revealed in future content. But for this story, we were thrilled to include her and explore her unique connection and compassion for Omega." Futterman then adds, "They found a way to continue her story. I think they must have discovered that the fans loved this character and they want her around, which makes me very happy because I love her too." So it's nice to know. I mean, of course Dave Filoni has a plan, you guys, and I feel slightly stupid for doubting that for a moment. I think part of it for me is just because I feel like we live in a world where I feel like there's a lot of things, like especially in like the film industry, the storytelling just to me just sometimes isn't what it used to be. Like there's not a lot going on in the film and TV industry that really excites me anymore, which is really a shame. But the one thing that I always try to be excited for is Star Wars stuff. Part of that's just because of how big a Star Wars fan I am. I will say this much though, for as much as I know people doubt Disney Star Wars, and there's a lot of people that don't like it, and they have every right to, it's their opinions. And listen, I've had my own problems with the way that Disney Lucasfilm does things. The one thing though that to me that has always been spot on is their animation division. You look at things like Clone Wars, like Rebels, like The Bad Batch, it's all good stuff. Like to me, Clone Wars and Rebels, you guys, are two of my personal favorite Star Wars stories of all time. Do I think Bad Batch is on that level? No, but they are doing some solid work with this show, and I've said that time and time again. Between the animated stuff and the shows that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have done, I've been a fan of a lot of it. I had my issues with Mando Season 3, but overall, I didn't think it was that bad. At least as some people made it out to be. But it definitely was my least favorite season. I'm not gonna deny that. Anyway, bringing it back around to Ventress, to continue the article, for Brad Rouse, seeing Futterman bring Ventress back to life was a highlight of Season 3. There are so many sides to Ventress over the years. She's got this big, bold, villainous personality, but also this awesome subtlety that really bubbles up. And we had a lot of fun with her in the booth. She knows the character better than anybody. Futterman says, I feel like I am her and she is me, even though we're very different. I think we're going to find out a lot of things about a lot of things. That's a sentence. We're going to find out a lot of things about a lot of things. Cool. And I think we're going to have all kinds of fun adventures. I sure hope so. I will say this much, I am very happy for Nika Futterman, the fact that she is able to come back and reprise her role as Asajj Ventress. I believe, you guys, like, of all the characters that got screwed over when Clone Wars was canceled, I think, like, Ahsoka and Maul were, like, the big two, but if you had to put a third in there, I think Ventress is the other one. Ventress had such a great arc going from, like, Season 3 onwards, and to me, it feels like we were robbed, like, that proper finish to her story. So if Dave has this idea to bring her back in order to give her that proper send-off, then you know what? I'm all for it. As long as it's a good story. And if Dave Filoni is still running the ship with the animated stuff, it's hard to tell sometimes, like, what it is that Dave's gonna be involved with anymore, because I know, like, the dude keeps gaining more and more power at Lucasfilm, so you then start to wonder, like, okay, like, is he even gonna involve himself in the animation division anymore? Like, is he gonna start to move away from that? Who knows? I know he was saying at Star Wars Celebration that he's trying to groom people in the animation division to take over for him, so one would assume that's his plan. At the end of the day, you guys, I just hope that no matter what, the Star Wars animation division continues to thrive, continues to give us good stories with great characters. They've done very well for themselves so far. But let me know what you guys think about the return of Asajj Ventress in The Bad Batch. What do you think we're gonna see her involved with next? Do you think she'll be in, like, a live action show? Do you think it's going to continue to be animated? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.